Hello, dear friends. Today is Saturday, July 8th, 2020. It's 8 p.m. in Moscow, and our live Wednesday news show is on. Today's guest is Dmitry Potapenko, a known businessman and economist, who is about to appear on our show. Hello, Dmitry, can you hear me? Good evening, I can hear you clearly. Good evening, it's good to see you again. It's been a long time since your last appearance on our show. Welcome to our live stream. Here's the story we are going to begin with. The Lithuanian authorities have banned the Russia Today channel from broadcasting in their country. The decision will be enforced on July 9th. Do you consider this a restriction of mass media freedom of speech? Or is it a natural measure to prevent aggressive propaganda of chauvinism and revanchism? Is this something one could call censorship? Censorship has the right to exist, however, the true issue is allowing the banning of a channel. If a channel is only available to paying subscribers who can always cancel their subscription, I think the channel should be allowed to exist. Unless it violates extremism, child abuse or drug abuse laws. If it doesn't violate any article of the criminal code, it should be allowed to spread its information. I'm not familiar with the TV viewing audience in Latvia. You mean Lithuania, not Latvia? Yes, I do, sorry. Anyways, once this channel broadcasted paid for by Lithuanian taxpayers, I guess such restrictions are possible, as the TV authorities in Lithuania have the right to schedule the TV broadcast to their liking. If any viewers would like to still watch Russia Today, they can always do so on the internet, as it provides numerous ways to access any channel. This issue is quite complicated. There is censorship, but on the other hand, there are people who definitely need to watch such channels. They need to understand what information is broadcasted by the channel and what is the context that makes the propaganda work. They need to get a feeling of the face of the enemy, so it's senseless to ban them from paying for their subscription. Let's move on in our discussion of revanchism and aggression. The website of the Russian Central Bank has recently reminded citizens that their investments may be frozen during a time of war, just like back in terrible 1941. They still remember those times now. Later they declared they didn't mean anything like this and deleted the initial post. But during his meeting with the head of Russian Postal Service, Vladimir Putin said that the postal service needs to run like clockwork even during a war. Who are they going to fight? Why are they hallucinating about war all the time? You see, if the authorities don't keep constant pressure on the population and semi-public structures, the heads of those structures will relax and start thinking. On the other hand, it's really easy to manage people by discussing a real or imaginary threat. Due to the lack of functional ways of managing that would allow state-owned companies to achieve their goals, those companies have mostly bleed money. They suck money out of the economy and obtain funds from taxpayers. Still, any and all authoritarian regime use such methods. Let me ask you the question I ask everyone. Considering the legitimacy of the past vote and amending the constitution, what country are we now residing in? As far as I see, the previous Russia have faded into oblivion. Mr. Putin abolished it. But what kind of a country has been born instead? What kind of Frankenstein monster has been created? Frankly speaking, nothing has changed dramatically. The situation looks sad, as Vladimir Putin has finally built a country that has no place for himself. He can't retire nor reside from the leading position, as he knows that the system he has built and the subordinates he has appointed now pose a deadly threat. Once he makes the weakest of them his successor, within a year this person will erase any memory of Putin's presidency. Extending Putin's previous presidency term is the most important among the recent amendments. In fact, it makes the authorities as unsustainable as possible. Before adopting this amendment, officials were able to plan and to prepare security forces for some particular date. But now they need to always be on the lookout. So this amendment has worsened the situation instead of improving it. After Mr. Putin has extended his presidency, should we expect major companies to be overtaken by his government? The rest of the world may take it for recovering state ownership. There are no major companies in today's Russia that are not owned by the state. However, we need to realize what kind of a state modern Russia is. Imagine a company as an inmate in a concentration camp that has to give a part of his assets to the prison administration for using a prison cell. So no companies are to be overtaken by this so-called state. The state has overtaken everything it needs. However, a redistribution of property is coming among Russian elites. This will initiate a political and economic change in the regime. Some of my friends who are still staying in Russia say that the line in the sand that would cause them to leave the country is the lifting of the moratorium on the death penalty. What will such a scenario mean for you? Frankly speaking, I'm not afraid of such a scenario, as unlike most Russians, I realize that the current regime is doomed. Here's what I think. I can clearly see that the regime doesn't have much time left. However, I'm worried that after the regime falls, the civil society will lay under a new dictator and will worship him even more than they used to worship Mr. Putin. That's the main issue as I see it. Instead of the freedom of the individual or conscience or democracy, the civil society always glorifies personalities. I don't wish to see any Tsar, no matter if he is a good Tsar or a bad one. I wish every citizen took responsibility for his own life in the first place. Such is my active philosophy. Any regime that turns fascist is always looking to start a war. Don't you see that the Kremlin is obsessed with war as well? Can't Russia finally start a war? They're looking to start a war. But it's not that simple nowadays. Russian authorities bring territorial claims to other countries from time to time. But the majority of their neighboring countries have realized the policy Moscow has been conducting. It's good that it takes so long. It would be worse should it become a rapid process. I'm sure that after all those warnings, the Baltic states realize that an invasion may begin any minute. And so do Ukraine and Belarus. Those countries now take reasonable measures to prevent the aggression and to respond when needed. This seems to be it for today. Thank you so much for this straight talk. I wish you all the best and hope to see you soon on Sotnik-TV. You're always welcome here. Thank you and good luck. Bye.